So do you think that they took top shelf stuff? I mean, because this is AMD, what I'm talking about here. And going forward, I really think Steam decided to use the best of the best. What do you think?
And so, yeah, I've long heard that AMD had tons of Navi 33, that's the die used for the 7600 and 7600M, just lying around that they don't know how to get rid of. And I think they cut Valve a deal. I think they said you can take some of the worst yields of one of our lowest volume selling Hawkpoint products. Maybe we just disable the integrated graphics on that, allow us to dump our remaining Navi 33 stock, and then you can cobble together, like I said earlier, the Scrapyard Wars Frankenstein desktop that you can then mass produce and undercut Xbox and possibly PlayStation as well.
Oh, snap. Cobbled together? Frankenstein? Oh, this is the makings of a hell of a show. If you didn't know, now you know.
What's a man or a king? What's to the saying? Advancing the line, advancing the payment. You front the game and shoot what said as you claim it. It's that Xbox. Spin the block, his legs slide. Fast talker, no riddling. Moonwalking, selling moon rock just to make dividends. You in traffic with family? That much making a portrait. Gun kick back, not grannies from porches. David on the scene, you know that it's scorching. What's a man or a king? What's to the saying? Advancing the line, advancing the payment. You front the game and shoot what said as you claim it.
You already know the time, told my boys to hold the line. We gon' shoot it out in seconds, leave you posted like a vine. Bow your head down to the king, leave your roses at the shrine. We stay ready for the war, just need the king to drop the sign. Say what you running from, what you running from. I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? Say what you running from, what you running from. I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? This what you wanted. This what you wanted, huh?
Peace and blessings, and welcome back to Xbox Frontline News with your boy, the King. And it's a wonderful Thursday. Happy Friday, Junior. Happy Friday, Junior. You know tomorrow's Fight Night Friday. You know exactly what we do. You know how the King moves. Don't act like you don't understand what's going on, my man. Now, I told you I'll be back with spec sheets. I told you we're going to dissect the Steam machine, get under the hood to see what's really good. Now, I brought with me some experts, the creators and makers of this device, and somebody that I look to and I say to myself, I believe that he is the foremost knowledgeable, tech-savvy dude that's on the internet. And I got to give you, my man Moore's Law is dead. But we're going to get into this. Let's get back to that. Like my man said with the drip. Let's get back to that. Now, I allowed you to one day to have fun with all the stuff that y'all was talking about, but now it's time to get down to the nitty gritty. Now that you have been unveiled to the world must see you for who the hell you are, and if you are a viable person that is out here trying to mix and mingle with us out here in these streets. Now, console gaming ain't gonna take lightly to you showing up to the party thinking you can party, right? We want to know if you can dance. Well, Steam Machine specs revealed, and here how they compare to the Xbox Series X and X. Because listen, a lot of times these dudes is gonna tell you how they compare to the PlayStation. Now we know that the Series X is above the PlayStation, right? But we know that the Series S is below the PlayStation. Right? So what we trying to figure out, where do you fit in, my guy? My guy, where do you fit in? And Digital Foundries and them boys was out here today doing what Digital Foundry does. What they do? They out here counting pistols and telling what people do. See, but they didn't do this today with the pixel counting like they normally do with all that vigor when it's against Xbox. They were all nice and proper, if you will. But again, leave it up to the king to get down to the nitty gritty. Oh, we gonna get to that. Now, they said that it's slated to launch relatively in the near future with a fixed box manufactured and sold by Valve. And at first glance, the spec sheet suggests that the performance is at a midway point between the Series S and the PlayStation 5. Base. Perhaps a little bit more skewed closely to the PlayStation 5. base, but with a few caveats, if you will. So let's look at these Steam Machine specs, if you will. An AMD Zen 4 CPU clocked up to 4.8 hertz, 6 cores and 12 threads. Up clocked, overclocked. Remember, it didn't just come in that way. AMD RDNA 3 with 28 compute units up to 2.45 gigahertz. 8 GDD R6 VRAM, 8 gigs of DDR6 VRAM with total wattage of 30 watts and 110 TPD G for the GPU. So the CPU is 30 and the GPU is 110. That's the power draw. On the memory inside the device, it's 16 gigs of DDR5 RAM. Storage capacity is 512 gigs or 2 tera, right? And we're not going to get into the display ports and stuff like that. It's not really necessary. The Steam machine supports M.2 storage replacements in both 2230 and 2280 form factors, along with hot swapping micro SD cards used in the other Steam operating devices. Additionally, Valve engineers confirmed that the selected HDMI 2.1 features like HDR and AMD FreeSync are active, despite the official spec sheets claiming that it was 2.0. Now, the Xbox Series S has an 8-core AMD Zen 2 3.6 gig slash 3.4 gigahertz with SMT on. And then you have AMD RDNA 20 compute units. RDNA 2 with 20 compute units at 1.565 gigahertz. That's 4 T-flops. T-flops don't matter no more. With 10 gigs of GDR6 RAM and 512 gigabytes custom Navi SSD. And then we go down further. So Digital Foundry points out that Valve has yet to reveal the spec model numbers for the CPU and the GPU, choosing to instead to refer to them as custom, semi-custom chips. And Digital Foundry reckons that the CPU Zen 4 architecture at the slated clock speeds should fare well in terms of the system's 4K 60 frames per second target, but that only applies to AMD FSR in play. But there's concerns that the most comparable GPU is usually only associated with 1080p and 1440p gaming. Yeesh. Now, the biggest problem for the device relates to the Steam Machine's 8 gigabit of VRAM, which apparently is a matter of affordability and could limit the system's ability to remain future-proof. And that lies the rub. So the performance lands somewhere between the Series X and the Series S, and I'm going to go deeper into those performance metrics based on the fact that I have someone who is classified as a pure genius in the category.
And first, let's talk about its performance. So first of all, the GPU. Look, this thing is basically an unreleased 7500 XT, a cut-down variant of the RX 7600. It's actually almost exactly a 7600M, a laptop variant of a graphics card that will be 3 years old by the time this console launches. So look, compared to the PS5 is 29% more compute units, but this will be clocked about 10% faster than the PS5's GPU, and it will be RDNA 3 instead of RDNA 2, which I find is usually about 7% faster on average compute unit to compute unit. So if you add it all up, the PS5 should be a bit faster on paper, but only 8% faster. However, now to be fair to the PlayStation 5, its console actually has more TMUs. It's probably going to be a tad more optimized to the metal by developers, although Valve's console will be optimized to be very close to the metal, so it's not like comparing it to like the Xbox ROG Ally X that just has a performance penalty compared to other consoles. It will have a smaller performance penalty than usual compared to the PlayStation, but yeah, the PS5 also has a bunch of extra little tweaks on IO controllers and stuff, and so just overall, I would say that I expect the PS5 to be about 20% faster overall.
Yo, did my man just say it's gonna be old before it's born? Did he just say a laptop variant? We're getting ourselves worked up for a variant of a laptop? I think we need the time police. We got a loose variant in the streets.
You just let me know. Okay? When you're ready to have a conversation.
And what makes you think this is the first time we've had this conversation?
Well, before you consider FSR 4, which as far as we can tell, RDNA 3 should be getting FSR 4 support early next year. And because of that, I think it might almost be a wash. Like the PS5 might be slightly better, but it will only be slightly. And you might be able to get around PS5 performance out of Valve's new box in a lot of games. All right, that was the GPU. Now let's move on to the RAM. So look, I'm not going to kid you. 24 gigabytes isn't fantastic. But I do think it's probably going to be enough, especially because this thing will be running SteamOS, not Windows, and so it will use RAM a bit more efficiently. And overall, even long-term, I think it can probably do 1080p medium settings, especially because I'm sure devs will optimize their games for this a little more specifically, just like they have like special Steam Deck settings for the Steam Deck as well. And so even 4K might work with FSR, which remember, when this comes out, there might be FSR 4 support as well. So maybe you will be able to do like 4K medium 60 with FSR 4 balance or performance mode on. I think that's totally plausible. And so I do think the performance of this will be enough. It'll have enough RAM. The graphics card is enough to get you to what they're claiming. Just don't expect to turn settings beyond medium most of the time, and anything beyond 4K high is going to be unlikely in AAA games long term.
You get a medium settings bargain basement laptop variant PC. Yo, make it stop. Make it stop. This is the best. This is the best. This is what I live for. I live for you idiots talk about Xbox is dead. You can't be dead. You come to the party old talking about you got on new sneakers. FSR ain't gonna save you, punk.
This is not a test. It's the real deal. Help me. Help me.
All right, so now let's move on to the final component to bring up the CPU. Overall, I would actually say the Steam Machine will only have a slight advantage to the PS5 in the CPU department, and it might not always have one. Oh, what's that? Do you hear it? A bunch of people typing in all caps angrily at me, saying things probably like, but it has Zen 4, the PS5 only has Zen 2. Actually, no, it doesn't. You see, the early rumors that came out from Sadly It's Bradley, who I consider the GOAT of Valve leaks, showed early prototypes of this thing using something that is called Hawk Point 2, or Little Hawk Point. It is a budget variant of an APU that is already a year old now, and the thing is, that has up to a 30-watt TDP, which if you look, the Steam Machine also claims that, by the way, for the CPU, further supporting this, that this is Little Hawk Point, and therefore, because it actually only has 2 Zen 4 cores and then 4 Zen 4C cores. It doesn't have 6 full Zen 4 cores, and it's actually more of like an underclocked Ryzen 5 220 with its integrated graphics probably disabled. So overall, that means that I would expect this box's CPU to be more capable of running lightly threaded titles like single player games like God of War or something a bit better than the PS5. Like if the PS5 can't really get past 80 or 90 frames per second, as long as you turn down the settings to get there, this will probably more easily hit 120 or 144 hertz. But in games with a lot of assets being streamed in and physics being calculated, maybe a game like Battlefield 6, I actually am not so sure the PS5 CPU is any less capable than the Steam Machine, especially when you throw in the extra I/O controllers that the PS5 has, the Steam Machine will not. So,
yo, the more and more I listen to this, the funnier it gets. He got Little Hawk Tour inside the box, like a Little Hawk Tour. Yo, it's not real FSR 4. Say it ain't so, Joe. Say it ain't so. You ain't real? You ain't the real deal? How you gonna come out before you hit the streets and you a year older than what you said? You got Little Hawk Tour in the box? Little Hawk Tour? You ain't even got Big Hawk Tour? Oh, man.
You gotta give him that hawk and spit on that thing. You get me?
Overall, what you can say is in some games, the Steam Machine will probably more consistently get to like 120 frames per second, but in others, the PS5 might actually have an advantage. And overall, don't expect this to be any more than a 144 hertz gaming device. And there's probably a reason Valve keeps saying 60 hertz, because that's probably what it's mostly trying to target. All right, then. But that raises a question. Why is Valve using such a weird CPU for this? Why is Valve using such an odd GPU choice? A GPU that will be 3 years old by the time it launches? Well, what I think it all comes down to is that Valve, just like they did with the original Steam Deck CPU, they got a special deal from AMD in a time where AMD was a little desperate to find someone to buy some products from them in bulk. And so when you look at the weird specs of the Steam Machine, what you're actually looking at isn't so much a device that was made by someone who doesn't know what they're doing. It was made by someone who was trying to win a Scrapyard Wars competition and then...
Are we trash?
Kinda.
Oh.
You can't make this up. Scrapyard, digging in the garbage, leftovers, old stuff, laptop variants. Boy, if you don't get the hell up out of here with that whack-ass console. We are one day removed from Black Ops 7. Are you ready for Black Ops 7? I'm ready for Black Ops 7. I already got it, already downloaded. Everything is ready. I cannot wait. Thought I'll be playing it today, but I won't. I'll be playing it on my Series X tomorrow. Series S, not so much. It's not going to happen. But they do have comparisons, and those comparisons is out there. You can check it out as much as you like. Me personally, I'm not even going to bother with the Series S version. But for those people that do have the Series S version, let me give you the output for the Series X version. 1440p, 60 hertz with dynamic resolution scaling, 1080p in 120 hertz mode, upscale to 4K. They said it looks very nice. If you played last year's version, well, then you pretty much know exactly what you're getting this year. The Series S is suggested at the native resolution. It was 1206p and 60 hertz with DRS and 576p to 1080p and 120 hertz mode, upscaled to 1440p. Again, if you remember Black Ops 6 from last year, in terms of everything, it looks the same. So you're not missing anything there. Get ready to get busy. We're all ready to play. Listen, I think it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. You guys can get into it. Everybody worldwide, Eastern Standard Time, I think it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I think PT time, that's 12 midnight. So again, happy hunting, people. Are you a fan of Horizon Zero Dawn? Or how about Horizon Forbidden West? Have you stuck around and stayed with Alloy? You don't remember? Miles and Alloy? Well, I got news for you. PlayStation told you if you're a PlayStation 5 supporter of this game, well, suck it, because you're not getting it. That's right, folks. A first-party title is missing home base. What type of baseball is this? Well, Horizon Steel Frontiers, an MMO, is skipping to PlayStation 5. And I couldn't be more delighted. Hashtag no PlayStation 6. You know what it is. We're going to run it up on these bums. I'm going to keep the boot on Kong's neck this whole generation. Now, if you happen to have an Xbox ROG Ally X and you happen to have the Android app, well, this game won't be missing you Xbox fans like myself. Well, Sony announced that Horizon Steel Frontier is a new game for mobile devices and PC, under development at Guild Wars and NSoft. The new entry into the Horizon franchise is an MMORPG, and it looks heavily inspired by Capcom's Monster Hunter. Now, if you like Monster Hunter, if you like Horizon, buddy, old pal of mine, do they have a game for you? And I'm telling you, as you can see at the graphics on the screen in front of your very eyes, it looks delightful. We will all get a chance to partake. You know who's not going to get a chance to partake? PlayStation owners. The guys that built it up. I mean, the guys that said that we love them the most. You dudes, the supporters, the ones that helped build Horizon up. You're left in the dust. Told you they didn't care about your goofy ass. Wait, there's more. If you happen to love Ratchet and Clank, boy, do I have a doozy for you. Looks dope, right? Looks like it's fun. Guess who it's not fun for? The PlayStation fan base that supported Ratchet and Clank throughout all the time, every year, who brought every game. Remember Rift Apart with the fast SSD? Remember all of that stuff? Mark Cerny said, lend me your ears. He also said, lend me your wallets. And he said, lend me your hearts. Then he kicked it down the block. Oh, BB. Shout out to BB, because BB's the one that made it. It's going to PC. Aw, BB. Hey, and it's going to mobile, but it's not going to the PlayStation 5. And check this out. You know what's else? The best part about this whole thing has they show you that they don't give a damn about you. All us Xbox guys that actually have an Xbox ROG Ally X will get a chance to play it. Shout out to Xbox for the win. PlayStation, you're coming in short. Sucks. And they doing it to themselves. This is nasty work. Oh man, well thanks for making it this far. And I did have more footage. I have footage from the makers of the Steam Deck that I'll probably drop at a later date as we go into it more. But I thought Moore's Law is Dead actually did a wonderful job. And I want to thank him for showing up. It was fantastic. Thank you for having you here. It's wonderful. Well, link is in the description. Go check out his channel. Moore's Law is Dead. I think he's the dopest dude on the internet, to be honest with you. I love everything that he does. His YouTube stuff is incredible. He gives me greater insight. And I just want to say, listen, man. As far as us console gamers go, we don't give a damn. Like, be honest with you, don't give me this underpowered weak device. And I did have some more going into the price point of it and all that other stuff, and that'll probably be done at a later date. But this is Thursday, Fight Night Friday Junior, if you will, as everybody's gearing up for Call of Duty Black Ops 7. I hope everybody has a chance to play it. Well, why wouldn't you, right? If you got Game Pass, well, you're automatically sure it in there. But you could have caught me earlier on Boom Show today. I think it was lunchtime with Boom. We had a great time today. We talked about a lot of topics. Talked about this topic in a little bit, and then we talked about Bungie and some other stuff. But listen, guys. Have fun, play games, and we have another entry that's coming into the ecosystem. I have tons of footage of stuff that I was going to do, and I could have went a million ways with this video, but I decided to bring you the best, most entertaining video that I can bring you that I like the most, and hopefully you enjoyed it. Well, this is the part in the video when I'm going to tell you to like, follow, and subscribe. Well, I ask you to. And if you want to become a member, then please become a member, support the channel. Now, I got some stuff that I'm doing for members that's going to be really dope. Remember, I used to do the free food giveaway. Well, I got food in a movie. I'm going to be starting to give away food in a movie to members. So you get your food, you get your movie, sit down with your lady, your man, whatever you do. Have a great time on the King. as members, I think you deserve that. Also, I got some stuff that's in the background. Go check out those movie reviews. We're doing Badlands. We got Badlands coming up, and we got some other stuff. And I just did some stuff with Dip Down and Anime. Check it out. It's inside the Patreon. Jujutsu Kaisen is dropping a movie, and I'm going to go see that movie, but also I got to finish Jujutsu Kaisen. All right, so I'm watching that right now. Nanami just got busy on some stuff, and the boy, I was there for it. Not really feeling Nanami like that. I think he's a little weak, but whatever. All right, Ichi is my dude, and it is what it is. But I'm going to do what I tell you to do, what I always do, that I love to do. I'm going to go where game is games and win is win. And I'm going to tell you, from the bottom of me heart, try to play the Game Pass.
Play it day one with Game Pass.